All right, here we go.
Oh, my hair looks better than yours.
Well, it just does. So, by the way, we're live on Facebook. So
I know.
you just talked about your giant head. That's okay. Very good. Well, good morning, everybody.
Happy Monday. And today's a day of reflection, honestly, for the one that has heroically given their life for our freedom.
Yep,
And for us to do this, for us to have the liberty to pursue our dreams and goals.
exactly. So thank you guys for joining us. We do this every single week where we kind of go over all the comings and goings, all the things happening in the real estate world in the Atlanta area. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker here at Maximum One Realtor and Realtor Partners.
My name is Lane Richardson, the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And we want to go through and kind of, jump right into like, are we in a good place in Georgia? And it turns out, yeah, overall, there's some new data that just came out. And so there's some new information which talks about what's going on with the population here in the Atlanta and, the Atlanta area particularly. But that makes up 23 counties here. So it's a pretty big area. And overall, in Atlanta, we gained about 65,000 new people. And so why that's so good for us is because that's 65,000 people that need homes, that need places to live. And so,
68.
oh, okay, 68,000. Thank you.
Yeah, a few thousand
Yeah,
now.
okay.
It's
I
okay.
missed it by 3,000. Okay, thanks.
But still, it's a lot of folks, y'all.
Yeah, and so like the other part of that is that it really does come from net migration. And really what we're seeing is that, yeah, we do have a growing population where we're making babies for sure, but then we had, let's make sure I get the number right this time, 42,512 folks that moved to the Atlanta area. And so we are a very popular destination for folks from inside the United States. Still, New York and New Jersey is the number one area where more people move to Atlanta from. And so this bodes really, really well because that just shows that we've got a growing population and they're going to need homes. And so it's a super great way to be.
Well, that's also letting you know in our market, the demand is still there, but it's about affordability.
Yeah. Oh, it always is, right? So now we want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in the, I guess you'd say, debt side of things. And so overall, household debt is continuing to rise, and this is not necessarily a good thing. I don't. I mean, like you can see kind of what's been going on with overall household debt, and the reason that we're bringing this up is because we are, whether you like it or not, we're a source for a lot of our clients' information on financial matters, and we need to therefore be very knowledgeable of what's happening in the financial markets and what's going on with debt and equity and those kind of things. And so, first thing is that household debt is continuing to rise. Overall, credit cards, personal loans, loan balances, card loans, that kind of stuff, that's what's rising the fastest. We've seen where a lot of folks are maintaining their spending, but they're doing it by running credit cards and personal loans and things like that. And that is going to hurt their ability to be able to buy a home, right? And so we need to be just, a voice of sound reason out there. Now, the other thing that's going on is because of these interest rates, the same interest rates that we're having challenge that makes, home buying challenging, it's overall making debt more because when you have more debt, then the interest rates, like, it throws gasoline on an already existing fire out there.
Well, naturally, when the mortgage is or when the interest rate is high, everything you do on borrowed money are going to be more costly.
Yep. Well, and then the other thing that's of concern to us is that early delinquency rates are moving higher. And so when you start having delinquencies, that impacts your credit report. And when your FICO score goes down, that it can A, impact your ability to buy, but B, it's going to mean that you're going to have to pay higher interest rates. The higher your credit score is, the lower your interest rates are going to be. And so this is a double-edged sword, basically. And again, we want to make sure that we're talking about this because right now there's a new study out which said younger Americans are the most likely party to take out mortgages. And you look at in the Atlanta area, a third of all of our mortgages are issued to people under 35. Another
Mhm.
third are issued almost to folks under 45. These are the folks that I mean, just because of their age, are going to be the least experienced, and they're going to be reaching out to us about mortgage information, about financial information.
Consultation.
Yeah, and so this is what we're trying to prepare you for because, like you have to save money. Your down payments generally come from people being able to save money. Interest rates really, I mean, like your credit score, those kind of things. These are all really, really important. We need to be sharing this kind of information and talking especially to our first time buyers, to our younger buyers about, again, we're not trying to get into their,
Finances, but
right.
at the same time, we do want to coach them and knowing if they want to purchase a home down the road, they do need to save up
Yep.
and what they need to do to improve their credit score because that's going to dictate what kind of interest rate they will receive.
Yeah. All right. So now the good news is, after all that, interest rates are back down under
Yeah.
7. So we've seen interest rates dropping; they've been going down, and so and we spent about 6 weeks over 7. So now we're back under 6, and back under 7. We're not under 6. I wish we were. We're heading that way at least,
Floodgate opens then.
that's good to have, right? Now at the same time, there's this new report. It was a report by National Association of Realtors and Realtor.com, and they came out with this groundbreaking information, which was guess what? If we have lower rates, we're going to get more buyers. Okay, no, I mean, you can dig into the data and look at what the impacts are, but realistically, that's the basis of what this report says, and we know that. So as we're seeing rates drop down, expect that we're going to see more buyers moving into the market. We're already, and this is a really good time to be a buyer right now. And a lot of folks would say, well, how can you say that? Well, I'm going to show you some more data, but we are seeing interest rates coming down. It's still the number one source for wealth creation in the United States is owning a home. So folks
Absolutely.
want to own homes, and lower rates means that more people are going to be able to afford to buy, and that's a really good thing for our buyers to begin with. Now, also, in
This
terms,
is a wonderful news, actually.
well, the VA has said that they are temporarily suspending the ban on buyer agent on veterans being able to pay.
A real estate
Yep.
professional for our commission due to the recent lawsuit because with the old policy, the veteran basically are not going to be represented because if the seller does not have any co-op commission offered to the buyer broker, which would take out about a third of qualified buyers for the seller, then they would basically be on their own.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So they have lifted a ban on that, and now the VA buyer is able to pay commission to the buyer's broker.
And not that we think a lot of them are still going to, but it's a positive sign that we see where it eliminates that legal. I mean that hurdle because some vets were okay. They needed to be able to pay in certain instances, kind of thing.
And
So
for them, sometimes, there are some vets that haven't bought a house over 15 plus years. And the market has changed. It is, and these are, uh, you know, the folks that has helped build our country. And I do believe they need representation, especially when it
yeah,
comes to local real estate market.
yep, exactly. Now, there's a new report out which says that 1/3 of all homes for sale are new construction. All right, and so we've had a lot of sellers that have been hesitant, and we have,
Mhm.
and we do have more listings coming online. It's really nice to see an
Mhm.
increase in listings. However, a third of our homes for sale are new construction, and so if you really, and this is another one where if you want to truly represent buyers and you are not considering offering them and talking about new construction, you're missing out on 33% of our available inventory out there. I'm not saying new construction is right for everybody, but
Correct.
please don't decide for your client that they don't want new construction just because you're not comfortable working in the new construction space. And there are some changes. I mean, not changes, but you do have to operate a little bit differently in new construction. But remember, you're there to represent them. And honestly, in a new construction sale, they need us terribly. Nothing against the builders, nothing against the on-site reps, but they represent the builder.
Well, a lot of time the buyer assume that new construction should be perfect all the way around. And sometimes that's not the
But we
case.
wish.
And, we understand it's new material, no one ever lived in it, but the construction, the walkthrough process, everything, the upgrades, the financing, what happened if a new construction get delayed and now you're facing with a higher interest rate?
Yeah.
So all these are in consideration for new construction that a lot of people don't think about. So, buyer do need representation, well, in education, be well informed.
Make sure that we're ready to take care of them out there. So now, remember earlier I said, look, it's a good time to be a buyer. The top 5 markets with the biggest year-over-year increase in new listings and total listings is Atlanta. We come in number 5, right? We're not the number 1, but still we are. It's significant. We're up about 30%.
Well, it's ranked by percentage, but if you actually look at the units, it's pretty high.
It really is. And so, but like we have 9,000 more homes on sale for sale this year than we had last year. That's a significant jump. And so that's a really good thing for our buyers, right? We're glad to see overall inventory increasing. Now, don't think that immediately means that we're shifting to, but we are heading into a more balanced market, right? And so Zillow came out with their new ranking for the best markets for buyers, and guess what? Atlanta comes in more of a neutral place, right? We're coming in much more balanced than we've been in for a long time. Again, better for our buyers right now. We're seeing where inventory is increasing. There is still, the interest rates are coming down a bit. All these are really good things that are going on. At the same time, Showing Time just released kind of what's going on with their traffic, and we're seeing where traffic is much stronger than pre-pandemic.
Absolutely.
And so don't think that buyers aren't out there. The buyers are definitely out there. We know that it's been held back. However, right now we are coming in and as a balanced market, more neutral. And and you can kind of see what's kind of gone over the years. We knew that we were in a really strong seller's market than a seller's market, but we're moving much more into a more balanced market. And that's, again, balance is really great for us because,
That will just open up negotiation between buyers and seller. And so no longer is seller able to demand, I'm going to sell my house as is. And there's no fix or anything like that. Now, once again, this is all indicated by price. So if the price is really good, then yes, some buyer may forego the repairs. But the house is at market condition, the buyer's going to be a little more picky about how the house, whether or not it has any deferred maintenances.
Well, and we're starting to see where the fact that we're moving into a more balanced market is a shock for some of our sellers. We're even having some sellers that are having some seller's remorse. I wish I'd sold when I could just get all cash and everyone's fighting over it, that kind of thing. Well, that's not the market. We're moving into a more balanced market. The other thing that's happened with a more balanced market is share of listings with a price cut is up. Right now in the Atlanta area, 25% of listings have a price cut right this minute.
And that's an indication that a lot of sellers are going with historical trend and they think that it's still rising at that pace when it's not, especially with homes with deferred maintenances. When I say deferred, not necessarily always a major item, but like loose tile.
Sellers that won't do anything, price and condition really do matter. You're not going to get top price if it's not in top condition. And, for the past couple of years, we had sellers who's just like, well, I'll sell it. There's enough demand out there. Well, there is a lot of demand, but the demand is very much choosy right now. And so with 25% of our listings taking a price cut, the other interesting thing that's not on here is that still 40% of our listings are under contract in 2 weeks. So the properties that come out that are priced right, in good condition, in good areas, those properties are selling fast. For our sellers who are saying, I just want to try this price. I want to throw this price out here. They're sitting on the market and then they're having to take price reductions. So do your comparative market analysis, do your equity assessments on what a buyer's willing to pay for that seller's property, and be honest about it. Let the numbers do the talking. Show your sellers, this is what a buyer in this area for similar homes is willing to spend on this property.
Correct.
And then, like let the numbers do your talking for you is really what we're talking about. Now, speaking of sellers, you know, so 1000 Watt did this big survey and said, when you think of selling, what is your biggest challenge? And I found this to be really, really interesting because what I think as real estate professionals we think of the biggest challenge is different than what our sellers are thinking. The number one is that their biggest challenge is the logistics and the planning and the moving. Like, you guys don't understand how stressful it is moving. Like we moved a couple of years ago, and what a giant cluster that was. I mean, like, it just consumes your entire life. So moving is like one of the biggest challenges for your sellers. Uh, the second biggest challenge for our sellers is buying, finding another home. And so we have to understand that no one sells their home independently. If you're going to be a successful listing agent, you're going to have to be a successful buyer's agent too, because your sellers won't sell if they have no place to go. Every one of your sellers should be a buyer first, because
Correct.
even though we're moving into a more balanced market, nobody wants to be homeless. And so, yes, 15% said rising interest rates is a concern, but when you compare that to the, buying a home and the logistics of moving, like, it's a pretty small percentage, after that. I mean, at that point, it really starts to drop off. But those are really the two biggies that I think that we have to be empathetic. We have to be understanding how stressful and what a big disruption in people's lives
Absolutely.
is. Anyway, all right. Now, at the same time, also speaking about selling, Gallup went out and said, what is the best long-term investment? And guess what came in number one?
Housing,
Regardless
real
of
estate.
income, real estate is the number one investment. So, like, in a lot of other countries, people's homes is not an investment. But here in the United States, owning a home is, for a
Yeah.
lot of people, that is their source of their wealth. And so that's a really great place for us to be, for our clients to be. And we need to understand the power of home ownership is that, yes, it's a home, it's a place where I sleep, and it helps
It's
me
more than
stay.
that.
It's so much more.
It is your legacy.
It really is so much more. So now, moving over into the investor side, single family rent growth has continued. It's a slight recovery. It's nowhere where it was, kind of thing. But that's, especially in multifamily, we've seen where it is starting to come up, but it's really, really gradual. And so overall, if you look at single family rent change, you can see that Atlanta comes in at 1.6%. And so, very, very modest growth in that sector. What we found really interesting, though, is that here in the Atlanta area, developers are building or building
Studios,
rentals.
right.
Well, studio is up a little bit, but two bedrooms are down. 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms are increasing in the share, and our builders are building more and more uh, homes to rent immediately. And so we're seeing those kind of things. And we think that that's a great market. If you're trying to find first time buyers, that kind of stuff, it's a really good market to be looking at. Some folks are really wound up about them, but like, it's a piece of our market, and we have to be aware of what's going on with it. Overall, with the investors, I've been hearing a lot of talk lately about how the investors are buying more and more and more, and there's such a huge deal. Look, if you look at really what's going on right now in the investor market, it's at some of its lowest percentages. Now, Atlanta is always higher than other parts of the country, but even here, we're seeing where that's dropping off. And so it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just don't be swayed by the headlines, is what we're trying to say, because we're hearing so many
Well,
people talk about it.
headline does a national average, so does not reflect the local market. So just, talk to your broker, talk to your associate to see what is going on, what they're seeing.
Yep. So now this week, On Tuesday, license law for agents and brokers. That's going to be over in our Noonan office on Tuesday. You
That's
teaching that?
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yes. On Wednesday, I'm teaching effective negotiating. That's going to be in our I'm sorry, I'm in Conyers on Wednesday. I'm sorry, I put the wrong place down.
So Conyer is having the effective negotiation, not pay a bill.
Yep. And then in McDonough this week on Thursday, we have online productivity platforms. Basically, we're teaching KV Core on that day, and that's going to be in our McDonough
And
office.
that has a lot to do with your CRM. And honestly, your CRM should be making you money while you're asleep.
Yep.
So if you don't have one, please think about utilizing one.
So hope you have a great holiday. Hopefully you're staying dry because it looks a little bit soggy still out there. And
And I just want to say today's a remembrance of our fallen heroes.
you know,
So please, if you see anybody out there that are vets or ex-vet, uh, just just tell them that you appreciate their services. Thank y'all. Have a great Monday.
all right. Bye guys.